Big news coming out of Chelsea today from new transfer link that could reshape the squad, including fresh updates on the goalkeeper situation. Surprise exit to one of the big name defenders now opening to leave the club, and even strong interest building around one of Chelsea's top goalkeeping talents. But before we get into all that, first of all, welcome back to the channel. This is Papi Knows Football. Yeah, the analytics says that more than 80% of you that is watching my video don't subscribe to the channel. That's a very, very big deal. That's a shame, bruv. That's a shame. With the amount of work, the editing I put up here, and you guys watch the video and you don't even like, you don't even subscribe. Man, that's not encouraging. First up today, a fascinating new twist in Chelsea ongoing goalkeeping saga. Earlier this morning, German outlet Bleed sparked the excitement among Chelsea fans, reporting that Borussia Dortmund standout goalkeeper Gregor Kobel is in active dialogue with Blues over a potential summer transfer. According to their report, Dortmund will be willing to listen to offer if a bid around 51 million is put on the table. Kobel, who has been one of the most reliable and high-performing goalkeeper in Bundesliga over the past 2 seasons, is reportedly very eager to play in Champions League next season. An ambition that Chelsea, as things stands now, cannot guarantee. Remember, under Enzo Maresca, Chelsea are rebuilding, but they are also currently outside the Premier League top 4, making the Champions League qualification a growing uncertainty. The reality could complicate any move for a player of Kobel's stature, who naturally wants to compete in highest European level. But then, the story took a sharp turn. Just hours later, highly respected journalist Ben Jacobs, known for his reliable Chelsea coverage, publicly refuted Bleed's claim. Jacob described the link to Kobel as a wide-off mark, insisting that Chelsea are not actively pursuing the Swiss international at this time. Instead, Ben Jacob reported that the current plan inside Stamford Bridge is to settle the goalkeeping position internally. Chelsea technical team, according to him, will choose between 4 options already at the club. Robert Sanchez, the former Brighton man who signed last summer but struggled with injury and consistency. Philip Jorgensen, the Danish young goalkeeper who joined from Villarreal but has not yet convinced after a rocky debut season. Petrovic, who impressed on a loan at Strasbourg and is set to return to Chelsea this summer. And finally, Mike Penders, a highly rated academy product, viewed internally as a possible future star. Though throwing him into number 1 role would be a bold move. And so where does that leave us? At this moment, it's hard to say definitely whether Chelsea goalkeeping search will extend into the transfer market or stay within the walls of Kobel. There's no doubt that Kobel will represent a massive upgrade. He has been a cornerstone for Dortmund's success, known for his commanding presence, reflexive, and leadership at the back. But this time, spending 50 million on another goalkeeper when Chelsea have already invested heavily on Sanchez and Jorgensen may not align with the club's financial strategy, especially with the profit and sustainability rule. And let's not ignore Kobel's own ambition. Unless Chelsea can guarantee Champions League football, any serious approach for him would be complicated, perhaps even futile. One thing is absolutely clear: Chelsea goalkeeping situation remains far from settled. Whether it's trusting their current roster or dipping into the market for an elite option like Kobel, major decision lies ahead of the Enzo Maresca and Stamford Bridge hierarchy. And they have to get it right, because after a turbulent season, another year of uncertainty between the sticks could cost Chelsea dearly. Now shifting the gears, onto a surprising and significant development involving one of Chelsea's high-profile defenders. Multiple sources, including reputable journalists like Sentian JFM, is reporting that Chelsea has opened the door to a potential departure for Wesley Fofana, either on loan or even do a permanent transfer. For those who may have forgotten, Fofana arrived at Chelsea in 2002 for a massive fee from Leicester City, with expectations sky high. At the point, he was seen as a generational defensive talent, quick, strong, technically polished with leadership quality well beyond his years. But unfortunately, Chelsea's journey has been plagued with one major issue: injuries. Since his arrival, Fofana has spent the majority of his time on the treatment board, suffering repeated setbacks that have prevented him from rebuilding momentum or cementing a regular place in the team. Most notably, a devastating ACL injury last summer ruled him out of the entirety of his current season. And even now, as he may continue his rehabilitation, his long-term durability remains a concern. Now, the new twists. Reports indicate that Fofana himself is more than open to move back to France, with Olympique Marseille emerging as serious suitors. Marseille, who are looking to reinforce their squad ahead of the return to Europe competition, believed that adding a player of Fofana pedigree would be a major statement, a move that could not only solidify their backline but also excite their fan base. From Chelsea perspective, this could serve multiple purposes. It allowed them to reshape their defensive setup, clearing spaces for new addition or giving more minutes to emerging talents. It could also mean a way to balance the book under the FFP rules, with Fofana still carrying significant value despite his injury record. The question, however, revolves around the structure of the deal. Will Chelsea be willing to accept a loan, possibly with an obligation to buy, depending on appearance? Or are they just ready to cut their losses and move Fofana on permanently if the right offer comes in? Sources suggest that they are still in early stages and no formal bid has been made yet. But crucially, Chelsea are no longer opposed to the idea of letting Fofana leave, which marks a major shift from their stance even 6 months ago when the club viewed him untouchable part of their future plan. It's another reminder of the ruthlessness under Enzo Maresca, the new Chelsea leadership. The big reputation no longer guaranteed long-term protection at Stamford Bridge. It's now about availability and consistency, aligning with the manager's tactical vision. If Fofana does leave, it will close the chapter on what might go down as one of the most unfortunate transfers in recent Chelsea history. A move that promised so much, but through no fault of the player, ultimately failed to deliver. And for Marseille, if they can secure his signature and keep him fit, it could prove to one of the coup of the summer transfer window. There is even more movement on the goalkeeping front. Reports coming out of Germany now suggest that Bayer Leverkusen under Xabi Alonso are currently considering a move for Petrovic. Leverkusen are apparently prepared to spend big to land the Serbian international, viewing him as a long-term solution in goal, as they may continue building a squad capable of challenging across multiple competitions. And when you look at Petrovic's profile, it's easy to see why. After an outstanding season on loan at Strasbourg, Petrovic has quietly built a reputation as one of the top 5 goalkeepers in Europe this year, based on performance metrics. Yet somehow, despite everything, Chelsea are now appearing to be willing to entertain offers for him. And honestly, if these reports are true, it's incredibly frustrating. At a time when Chelsea goalkeeping department has been full of uncertainty, underperformance, Petrovic has shown exactly the quality that the club has been desperate for. He's proving himself at the highest level week in, week out, in a difficult environment at Strasbourg, not just surviving but excelling, even when his defense left him exposed. If anything, Petrovic should be seriously competing for number 1 shirt under Enzo Maresca. Not to be pushed towards the exit door, or to balance books, or to make space for yet another gamble. Of course, nothing is concrete yet. These are just early rumors, but with Bayer Leverkusen financial strength, their clear sporting project, Champions League football, and a visionary manager in Xabi Alonso, and a stable setup, it's easy to see why Petrovic would be tempted if a concrete offer arrived. And finally, a quick note on another potential name linked to Chelsea. According to Cut Offside, Chelsea are among the several clubs planning to hold transfer talks with Ademola Lookman this summer. Lookman has been absolutely sensational this season with Atlanta, delivering 18 goals and 6 assists across all competitions. His standout moment, of course, came in the Europa final where he scored the historic hat-trick to dismantle Bayer Leverkusen and hand Atlanta their first ever European trophy. To add to his growing reputation, Lookman was recently crowned the African Player of the Year, beating out some huge names for the honor. It's a reflection of how far he has come since his early Premier League days. With that said, and it's important to clear, at this stage this report feels very speculative. There is no confirmation yet from the more established Chelsea insiders or journalists, who usually first on this kind of stories. It's possible that Chelsea are simply monitoring the situation, as they often do with informed players, rather than actively pushing for a move right now. And speaking on transfer links, there has been a big update regarding Victor Osimhen and Chelsea. This time is directly from the former Blue legend, John Obi Mikel, who continues in a very vocal way trying to bring Victor Osimhen to Stamford Bridge. Speaking recently, Mikel said, "He wants to play for Chelsea. I know where we stopped in terms of contract. I know where we are. It's an easy fix because we have done all the work last summer." Now, this is not the first time Mikel Obi is speaking publicly about Osimhen's Chelsea. Over the past month, he mentioned on several occasions that he has been involved behind the scene, trying to convince the Nigerian striker to make the move. In fact, at this point, It's most likely Mikel Obi is acting as Osimhen's unofficial agent, regularly dropping hints, providing updates and pushing narrative to move to Stamford Bridge. Of course, Mikel Obi's comments are exciting for the fans, and that shows Chelsea might still have serious shots. But we have to remember that finalizing a transfer of this magnitude involves several key hurdles. Napoli's asking price, which remained extremely high, Chelsea's compliance with financial restriction and the wage cap, and Osimhen's personal term and vision for his career. Still, the fact that Mikel Obi, who clearly has a relationship with both the player and Chelsea hierarchy, continue to speak so confidently about the situation shouldn't be ignored. If Chelsea decide to go out for a number 9 this summer, don't be surprised if Victor Osimhen stays right at the top of the list, which I really doubt. So yeah, that's the video here. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Go be.